Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. In this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis, and Adronis is going to be talking about entity implants and energy leaks. We will speak on the topic as it relates to the idea of entity implants and energy leaks. Now, if we were to take a very emotional human, let's say this human is female, and that she is going through a very tough time relating to her own states of insecurity. She feels jealous, she feels upset, she feels angry, and she is taking all of this form of frustration out upon the world. And that her frustration begins to escalate and intensify even more as each day passes. Well, she is noticing that there are physical illnesses that are beginning to manifest within her body. She is starting to realize that her body may feel stiff or have aches and sores and pains in certain areas as well. But as she continues to become mad at the world, feel that there is anger towards everybody, feel that there is anger towards all of the world's events, feel anger towards all the things that surround her, then she is continuing to move into emotional degradation. As the days, weeks, and months, and even the years pass, she feels weaker. She feels that she cannot be around anybody. And most of all, she does not feel that she can even be around herself. And when we look into the energetic of herself, we see all of these cords attached to these black clouds. And these black clouds represent entities. Entities that she has called in because she is involuntarily feeding such entities that thrive off the aspect of emotional energy. And this can be the idea of entity attachments. Now, basically, in order for an entity attachment to take place, the idea is that one must become very emotionally vulnerable. And through these emotional vulnerabilities, there are energy leaks throughout their own energy field. Basically, you could see these as open wounds or gaping cuts through the energy field. It would be no more different than looking at your once Dr. Emoto's experiments with water crystals. Where there was a great deal of love, there was a fractalization of purity, pure geometry. Where there was a defractalization of hatred, the aspect of the geometry would break apart. Certain areas would be left open. And that is the exact same thing as it relates to your own energy body. Is that when you are saying you hate yourself, you hate the world, you hate all people, you hate everything, then basically you're completely creating this degradation of your energy field. It becomes wounded. And as it becomes wounded, again, all of these leaks of emotional energy are spawning through the energy field and are now becoming vulnerable. And now other entities existing in other densities and dimensions can now sense this emotional disarray from this person. It is no more different than how a honeybee is able to smell pollen from a mile away. These entities will therefore latch on to this particular person and continue to feed on their emotions by giving them these particular thoughts that they are sharing that are in the aspect of parallel alignment with that person who is going through despair. So with that person in despair, this entity continues to share with them thoughts of despair, so that they can continue to latch on. Yes, you are no good. Yes, continue to hate the world. Yes, continue to hate yourself. Yes, continue to hate others. It's all of their fault anyways. And so these emotions start to intensify. And these beings now start to create a ripple through space-time and time-space. And they're actually able to come into reality. And the more of the emotional energy that they are able to consume, the more that they have the capability in some way of manifesting themselves to some degree. This is why people who are somewhat energetically sensitive, who may have great inner visual prowess, are able to see these apparitions of beings that may stay within a person's bedroom or front room, etc. And some of these beings may actually appear as shadow beings. And this is the result of some of these beings coming from other dimensions and being able to feed off so much of the emotion of the particular host that they're able to give some type of manifestation to themselves that can appear as shadow beings, or they may also appear in that sense as, shall we say, other essences of formlessness that can be recognized, such as a mist or a black cloud or anything of that particular nature. It all depends in regards to how much energy is being siphoned into them. However, once that person starts to make a recovery, once they start to work together with their emotions, work together with their feelings, they start to encourage themselves again. Well, it's like the water crystal experiment. You bring more love to yourself, and your energy now begins to fractalize upon itself. It no longer has leakages. And because of this situation where this person is repairing themselves, that entity that once fed upon them is now completely scared, because now they are losing their source that allowed them to occupy this dimension and feed on such prolific energy. So as that person starts to better themselves, that entity will result into scare tactics, which means they will try to scare you to try and keep you in that alignment of despair so that they can continue to feed on you. But as you move more and more deeply into love, into compassion, and into forgiveness of yourself, again, your energy field begins to fractalize, and there becomes less and less leaks. And now your body is going through natural, transitional repair, and that entity can no longer hold on. That person who was once in so much despair had some type of synchronicity, some type of trigger that allowed her to move into this greater transformation, to begin loving herself. So whatever the circumstance, it was all part of her being able to heal herself. And that's precisely what has happened. And so these entity attachments no longer have their cords attached to the emotions, because those emotions are now being completely transmuted. They're being transmuted into love. They're being transmuted into compassion. They're being transmuted into forgiveness and transcendence. And so now, as those emotions no longer exist, you are no longer within the alignment of attracting such entities into your reality, simply because those emotions of sorrow, of pain, of anger, of anguish, of despair no longer exist within your reality. And so, those particular forms of parasitical energies that fed off the emotions must go back into their domains. So whenever you are feeling a great state of emotional despair, it is possible that certain beings can, again, create a rupture and being able to bring themselves through, because it is like the honeybee smelling the pollen. And they will come through and they will say, I see this woman, I see this man, I see this child emotionally compromised. Energy leaks are all over. I think I'm going to throw my fishing rod and go right into that emotion and get an incredible feeling and feeding so that I can exist in this dimensional plane. And that's what many of these beings want to do. They want to basically breed themselves like a virus, like a parasite. And as they start to feed onto one, they'll start to feed onto another, and then they start bringing in all this power, and more of these parasitical energies start coming into your plane to start leeching onto other people. So again, there are specific phase intervals within the time-space matter ratio, as it were, relating to your Earth to where these beings are able to come in. So there are folds of time, folds of space, and they will appropriately come in on those particular phases, and therefore start hunting for the aspects of emotional victims. And they will again only be able to latch on to that which is magnetically coherent with their own types of energies. Fear, doubt, disbelief, anger, despair, for example, aggression. This is exactly how these beings come through. And so the whole idea is the more that you start to take care of yourself, the more you start to work with your emotions, the more you start to go within and start to work with these feelings all together and bring them into a state of harmony, those aspects of attachments will no longer be there. But you also have to remember that such beings are just reflections of yourself. They are showing you this part of yourself that is magnetically coherent with your energy. So if you are in despair, you will create something very, very of despair relating to such a being. So you want to be very, very mindful about the type of emotions that you are radiating out, and not being able to stick so much to the stories and the melodramas of those emotions. It is only going to impair yourself, it is only going to harm yourself, it is only going to harm others, and it is only going to bring more further states of degradation, such as these parasitical astral beings that come together and simply feed off this chaotic emotional energy. So this is primarily how it works. So again, the more that you bring love, compassion, and forgiveness into your life, bring that energy together, start to harmonize your energetic fields to where there are no leakages, to where there is no distortion relating to those fields, then the aspect of your emotions will serve you, working together on a positivity so that you are helping to work together with any particular conflicting emotions that may be present within your being. Thank you everybody for tuning in to New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Please feel free to visit our website, newearthteachings.com, private sessions, digital courses, blog, free media, and a lot more. Again, newearthteachings.com. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Take care.